We already looked at stewardship of possession, money, and life. Now we are looking into possession, stewardship of time and talent. Like we said, everything that we have been given to, everything that has been given unto us, it's a gift from God, and we are going to be accountable. And as stewards, we need to be faithful. So we need to be faithful to everything that God has given unto us. Now, how we're looking at stewardship of time and talent. We start with stewardship of our time. Being faithful to our time. To be able to manage our time. To be able to use the time God has given us faithfully. We'll look at Psalm 90 verse 12. Psalm 90 verse 12. It says, so teach us to number our days, that we may apply our heart unto wisdom. Teach us to number our days, that we may apply our heart unto wisdom. Also Ephesians chapter 5. Ephesians 5 from verse 15 to 16. Ephesians 5, 15 and 16. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. So we should redeem the time, because the days are evil. So we must be faithful to the way we use our time. Our time is given unto us by God, and we must be faithful to the way we use our time. Time is life. It's a very popular statement, often made by people. We are on page 9 of the manual. Yet, not many realize how precious time is. One of the sins most often committed by Christians is the misuse of time. Christian stewardship requires that we look at the proper use of our time. We look at the proper use of our time, lest we be condemned for misusing it. We will not be condemned in Jesus' name. He that is wasting his time is surely wasting his life. Time is life. Our time is our life. If you don't move with time, time will move without you. Life consists of time that has been measured for us to work. Our time has been given unto us to work, to be used profitably for God. Life is seen in seconds, in minutes, in hours, in days, in weeks, in months, and in years. So we are to use our time to profit and not to waste. Time ticks quietly away without noticing it. What is time? Time is the passing of life. So our time is our life. If we don't spend it wisely, it will take away. So we need to use our time wisely so it can be profitable unto God. Time is your most valuable resource. It is your most valuable resource. Time is unique. Unlike other resources, you cannot save time. You cannot store it. It cannot be saved for another time. If you miss this opportunity, if you miss this time, it is gone. So we must use our time wisely. Time does not discriminate. It is the same number of hours that is given to everyone. 60 minutes in 1 hour for everyone. 7 days in a week for everybody. 52 weeks in a year for everyone. So it does not discriminate. It is not that somebody has more time than the other one. We all have equal amount of time. Proverbs 6 from verse 6 to 11 says, Proverbs 6 from verse 6 to 11. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise. Which having no guide, overseer or ruler, provides her meat in the summer and gathers her food in the harvest. How long will you sleep, O sluggard? When will you arise out of your sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall your poverty come as one that travaileth, and your want as an armed man. So the Bible said that we should look at the hands. They work diligently. They make use of their time. You cannot see them sleeping. You cannot see them slumbering. They are always at work. You cannot see ants resting. but they do not have a master. They do not have somebody to tell them it is time to wake up. They don't have time, anybody to tell them it is time to plant, it is time to harvest. But they are always working, always working. They make use of all the time. The Bible says that they gather in summer. So when it is winter, when they cannot gather, they have something to eat. But the Bible says that anyone who is sleeping, who is slumbering, lazy, poverty will come unto such a person. This will not be our portion in Jesus' name. So let us make good use of our time because it's our life. Facts about time. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So there is a time for everything. There is a time for everything. There is a time to plant. There is a time to weed. There is a time to harvest. There is a time to rest. Amen. So there is a time to work. There is a time to harvest. There is a time to eat. There is a time to rest. So there is time for everything. The person who wastes 15 minutes every hour wastes 25 years if he lives to be 100 years. The man who sleeps 8 hours a day lives to be 75 years has actually spent 25 years sleeping. The man who eats 2 hours every day and lives to be 100 years has spent 8 years in eating. So each person needs each second, minute, hour, days, twice. He meets the first when it comes upon him, and second time at the judgment seat to give account how they were spent when we are going to give account. Anything that wastes your time is your enemy. You must get rid of it. If a person wastes your time, he has succeeded in wasting your opportunity to be better. So avoid such people that waste your time. Those people that come to you to waste your time in telling silly stories, in doing different things, you know how they waste your time, so avoid them so you don't waste your life. Wise and foolish use of time. Wise and foolish use of time. Matthew 25, from verse 1 to 13. Matthew 25, from verse 1 to 13. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. They that were wise took their lamps and they that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at night there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh. Go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. Verse 8. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but you go rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Amen. So the wise, they used their time wisely. They prepared when there was time. They got everything they needed ready. But the foolish, when there was time for them to prepare, they did not prepare. So we need to learn to use our time wisely. Acts 24, verse 25. Acts of the Apostle, chapter 24, verse 25. It says, And as he reasoned of righteousness, temperance, and judgment to come, Felix trembled and answered, Go thy way for this time. When I have a convenient season, I will call for thee. So there's a season, there's a time for everything. How can we use time wisely? We are going to look at the wise use of time and the foolish use of time. Wise use of time and the foolish use of time. Wise use of time we spend in prayer. Time spent in prayer is a useful time. It is using our time wisely. Study time is a time used wisely. Rest time, there is a time for rest. After work, there is a time for rest. It is not that you are resting while you are supposed to be working. It is not that you are resting while other people are working and you expect food on your table. No, we rest after work. Even God rested on the seventh day after He has created the heaven and the earth. He rested. So there is a time for resting. Meditation time. Meditation time, when you meditate upon the word of God. Fellowship time is a wise use of time. Family time, work time, all these are useful ways of using our time wisely. Foolish time, foolish use of time. When we procrastinate, I will do it tomorrow. I will do it later. Let me rest a little bit. I will do it later. Delay, poor planning, useless talk, ungodly and unprofitable visitation, watching television and films all time, late coming, time spent in eating, bathing, sleeping, playing, and salon. Amen. Good stewardship of our time demands that we make proper plan of our time. We make proper time. We plan our time properly. There's a time to eat. There's a time to go to the salon. There's a time to work. There's a time to sleep. We make proper time, proper plan of our time. The time that would be otherwise wasted must be invested for God. Plan your days and your weeks. Have a diary of events and schedules. Have time for prayer. Have time for worship. Have time for witnessing. What should be done today must not be left for tomorrow. Amen. Stewardship of talent. So we're going to start with talent. We are going to look at talent. We already look at time. How to use our time wisely. We use our time wisely in praying, in studying, in meditating, in worshiping God, in fellowship, in witnessing, in fellowshipping with God, spending time with our family, and working. Those are the wise use of time. But when we procrastinate, when we delay, when we are watching television too much, all these are foolish use of time. Like the 10 virgins, the 5 of them, they used their time wisely, preparing for the coming of the bridegroom. They prepared extra oil, but the foolish one, they didn't prepare when they were supposed to prepare. Maybe they were watching television when they were supposed to be preparing. Maybe they were sleeping when they were supposed to be preparing. They didn't prepare everything that they needed. When the master came, they were found wanting. They will not be found wanting in Jesus' name. Stewardship of talent. Stewardship of talent. Your talent is the gift that has been given unto us. The talent is the gift that God has given unto us. How do we use our talent? We must use our talent wisely, usefully, to profit unto God. Amen. Matthew chapter 25, verse 15. Matthew 25, 15 says, And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. So each one has been given the talent that he or she is capable to manage. The Bible says that God will not give unto us what we cannot manage. So God gave unto everyone according to his or ability. 1 Timothy chapter 4. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 4. For every creature of God is good, and nothing to be refused if it be received with thanksgiving. 1 Corinthians chapter 12. 1 Corinthians 12, verse 4. Now, there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. Each and every one has been given different types of talents. Each one has his or her own talent according to his ability. made each of us special for a purpose. In His wisdom, He gave different talents, He gave different ability, He gave different responsibility to each and every one of us. Every one of us cannot do the same thing, else there will be no other person to do other things. Everyone cannot be a doctor, else there will be nobody to be the engineer, there will be nobody to be a teacher, there will be nobody to be the pastor. So that is why He gave us different abilities, so that we can complement one another, so we can have everything that we need. Amen. So we must use our talents in order to complement one another, not to pull one another down, not to oppress one another, but in order to uplift and encourage and complement one another in order to build the kingdom of God. So God gave it to everyone. He did not give the same number or kind of talents to everyone. He gave them severally as He wills. Amen. What is the purpose of talents and gifts? God gave us talents and gifts in order to build the body of Christ. In order to build the body of Christ. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11 to 13. Ephesians 4, from verse 11. And He gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors, and some teachers, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ, till we all come in the unity of the faith, and of the knowledge of the Son of God, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ. So He has given us different gifts in order to complement one another, in order to edify the body of Christ, in order to perfect the works of the saints, in order for us to build up the ministry, in order to develop and work for the betterment of the kingdom of God. So the gift and the talent are to build up the body of Christ. Amen. It is to edify the saints, like I read, to edify the saints, verse 12. It is to convict and convert sinners. To convict and to convert sinners, not to oppress one another. To convict and to convert sinners. It is to profit with. We are supposed to profit with our talent, like servants that the master gave talents unto. One was given 5, one was given 2, one was given 1. The one given 5 was made profit. He made 5 more profits. And the one given 2 made 2 more profits. And they were accepted of their Lord. So whatever talent we have been given to, that has been given unto us, we are supposed to make profit of them for the glory of God. Amen. How do you discover and use your talent? How to discover and use your talent? 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 10. 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 10. It says, and as every man has received the gift, so even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. So we minister unto one another. Acts chapter 9 verse 36. Acts 9 36. Now there was at Joppa a certain disciple named Tabitha, which by interpretation is called Dorcas. This woman was full of good works and harm did, which she did. So that is her whole gift, that is her talent. Now, how can you discover and use your talent? Through prayer, you can discover your talent. You can ask God to reveal unto you your talent, and God will do through prayer. You seek God, and God will give unto you. Through meditation, examine your effectiveness and what you are interested in, what gives you passion. What passion do you have? What do you like doing? Do you like talking to people? Do you like evangelism? Do you like talking to people about Jesus Christ? Do you like hospitality? Are you the type that can talk too much? Do you have a loud voice? Through all these attributes, through all these abilities, you can discover your talent by asking God to lead you, to show you what you need to do in the body of Christ. Amen. Your spiritual and physical prosperity depends upon using your gift for the Lord. Like we read, when we learned in the other other session when we were looking at time and money and possession. Whatever gift that you have been given, it has been given unto you of God. So you must use it to profit unto God. They must not be used. They must be used in the right way and with the right motive. We are not supposed to trust in this gift, but we are supposed to trust in God and use them for the glory of God. Selfishness, show off, pride, and filthy lucres are condemned by the Lord. So whatever talents you have been given, we are supposed to use it to profit unto God. We are supposed to use it to encourage one another. We are supposed to use it to edify the body of Christ. We are supposed to use it to complement one another. To complement one another in order to prosper and to propagate the kingdom of God. Amen. Just like the body, the eyes has its own function, the hands the function, the legs the function. So each one of them must come together to complement one another. If the eyes are not working, the legs cannot go to wherever they want to go. If the legs do not want to go, then the eyes will just be there. So each one must work together in order to complement one another for the kingdom of God to prosper. Consequences of neglecting your talent. Consequences of neglecting your talent. Like we saw in the book of in the servants that were given different talent by their master. The one that did not profit with his talent was thrown into the darkness. This will not be our portion in Jesus' name. Matthew 25:28. Matthew 25:28. It says, "Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which has 10. So what he had was taken from him. So anybody who does not use his talent properly and wisely, the talent will be taken from him and it will be given to another. So the talent can be lost. So loss of gifts is one of the consequences of neglecting your talent. Deterioration. If you don't use it wisely, you will not become perfect in it. But as you use it, the more perfect you become. Condemnation. The person will be condemned, just like this servant was condemned. Ineffectiveness is another consequences. The person may miss heaven if the talents are not used, because this servant was thrown into the darkness. Rejection by the Lord. Amen. So the person will also be rejected. This servant also was rejected. Deprived of blessings and reward. This servant did not get any reward. The other servants, they were given more kingdoms. They were given gifts. They were given reward. Our portion will not be that of losing our reward in Jesus' name. Amen. Levels of gifts in Scripture. Levels of gifts in Scripture. There are different levels of gifts. Each one has been given according to his or her ability. 3 scriptural passages show the several gifts that have come to be recognized by Bible scholars. These are Romans chapter 12, 6-8, Ephesians 4, 11-13, and 1 Corinthians 12, verse 1-10. And these gifts, these talents, these gifts are apostle. Some are called to be apostle. Some are called to be prophets. Some are evangelists. Some are pastors. Some are teachers. Some are rulers. Some are givers. Some are helpers. Some are intercessors. Some are singers. Some are doorkeepers, ushers. Some the word of wisdom. Some the word of knowledge. Some discerning of spirits. Some prophecy. Some have been given diverse kinds of tongues. Some have been given the interpretation of the tongues. Some faith. Some gifts of healing and working of miracles. So these are different kinds and different levels of gifts in the Scripture. So which one is yours? You must identify your talent and your gift that has been given unto you. The benefits of the gift to the church. How does the church benefit from the gift? How does this gift benefit the church? The church will be blessed and edified, like we said the other time. The talent, the gift, they are to benefit the church. They are to prosper and to expand the kingdom of God. They are to edify the body of Christ, to encourage one another, to complement one another, to uplift one another, to make us to become mature men and women of God. The work of God will progress and prosper if we use our talents wisely. The work of God will progress and it will prosper. Then the church will grow and expand if each and everyone is doing his or her work. The apostle is doing his or her work, the evangelist is doing his work, the prayer warriors are doing their work. Everyone doing his or her work will bring growth and expansion. Then sinners will be converted. The devil will take a serious beating when we all use our talents for God. But when we don't use our talents for God, they will be taken. Others will be encouraged to discover their gifts too. Amen. Amen. What are the rewards for faithful usage of gifts? Faithful usage of gifts. Matthew 25, verse 23. His Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter you into the joy of your Lord. Amen. So when you are faithful with your gift, when you use your gift faithfully, promotion and advancement will come. There will be promotion. There will be advancement. These two faithful servants, they were promoted. Amen. They were made rulers over many other things. They received the joy of the Lord. Amen. So favor and blessing will also come because they were blessed and they were favored by the Lord. They will receive heaven and crown. Whoever uses his or her gifts faithfully will receive heaven and crown. There will be faithfulness and fruitfulness. When we continue to use our gifts faithfully, then we become fruitful and more effective. They will be commended by the Lord, just like these two servants were commended by their Lord. And they were able to enter into the joy of the Lord. There will be growth and more discovery of hidden gifts. If you use the one that is given to you, then you will be given more. This servant, they were given more. The one that didn't use his gift was taken and was given to the one who was using. So when we use our gifts faithfully, more will be given unto us. Amen. God bless you in Jesus' name. So let us use our gifts and our talent faithfully. The Bible says it is required of steward to be faithful. So God requires and demands and is expecting us to be faithful to the talent that He has given unto us. And everyone will be rewarded according to how they have profited with